YouTube kalau ada apa-apa benda yang tak jelas. Okay. Recording will be put on YouTube later. Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome back to our class. So today we're going to have a briefing regarding to our share your entire screen for this one. Okay, first I share this thing. Okay, now this file I'm going to put it inside. Also, I'm going to put it inside column, and also I'm going to put it inside. I'm going to put it inside our WhatsApp group. Easier if I were to put it inside our WhatsApp group. One moment, so that everyone can open it locally, so that we can refer to it quickly. One moment. Let me attach the file first, and then we can start the briefing. Document, final assessment. Okay, now already sent to WhatsApp. Please take your time to download. It's around 613 kilobyte. Okay, now supposedly I was supposed to give you this assessment last week, but currently I'm still waiting for the approval on the faculty side for this final assessment, but it's currently already on week 11, so I'm guessing we're just going to start it then. Okay, we don't want this to be delayed anymore. So this will be your final assessment for subject BCS3423. Final assessment format is in the form of a report. So you need to produce a report. The report will be broken into two parts, and then you're going to have one presentation in the middle after question one. Now, if there is any question, please stop me at any time. You may raise your question through the chat so that it can be shared with everyone, or you can also raise it through your microphone. Now, if everyone already downloaded the file, you may open it, and then you may notice there is around 20 pages. Okay, do not be surprised. Most of the pages inside this final assessment is mostly appendix. Is to guide you in terms of how you're supposed to do each of the question that is inside here. Hopefully, when I uploaded this video inside, upload this recording inside YouTube, YouTube would play nice by allowing, by not causing any issue on the video. If some of you already noticed, the video that was being uploaded last week was jittering. Okay, it's not smooth, but the audio was okay, but the video was not that. The video was bad. So it's our luck for this semester. Hopefully this can be redone for next semester. And also we already know that last week recording there was not enough actors for us to play to basically react the situation. Tak apa. Hopefully next semester is going to be much more better. Now, for the final assessment, if you go through the first page, integrated business process, BCS3423, my name, the duration. So basically duration is going to be 5 weeks. Now, the date of submission for question 1, presentation, and also the submission date for the overall report, I will be updating it inside column later. Okay, and also I'm going to be sharing those crucial date inside our WhatsApp group. Okay, this is a group project which consists of 3 persons per group. Each group should come up with a report and write down the content of the report based on their creativity. Even though it's mentioned here based on creativity, I already put some benchmark by providing you with some references in the appendix. We can go through that later. This assessment A paper consists of 3 questions. So answer all questions. Mark distributions are 90% individual, 10% group. All answer to a new question should start on a new page. Doesn't really matter on the item number 3. Now the appendixes. Currently there are 5 appendixes. The first appendix will be on how I will be giving marks to each of the content or presentation related to the final assessment. And then appendix 2, suggested project proposal content. So basically, even though I mentioned here, based on your creativity, if you do, I give you just a quick guideline, a brief guideline, not guideline, is mostly like my expectation. If you follow the suggested project proposal content, you will get marks around 3 to 4. If you do something that is more than this and it is good, you get 5. Or you can basically, based on the rubric evaluation, there is 5 marks, there is 4 marks, 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, and then if you remember last week class, I already mentioned to you that you have appendix 3, suggested interview procedure. In terms of here, I already attached to you how you're supposed to be interviewing the companies that the company teams that was assigned to you. Appendix 4, overall final assessment timeline. This is a flowchart showing in terms of from the first week until the 5th week, what are you supposed to be doing. Appendix 5, even though with all the explanation that is being included inside the final assessment documentation, if it's not clear, you can always refer to my previous video on how to do the final assessment. Okay, already a video around 6. Okay, and now we move on to question 1 of the final assessment. This is the first part, 45 marks, week 10 or to week 11. So basically this will be covering for 2 weeks. Submission is after the presentation. Okay, this is a group project which consists of 3 people. Each group should come up with their own report based on their creativity. Each group will need to prepare a proposal to implement SAP integrated business process solution. So that is our context of our final assessment. You are approaching the company, you are learning about their background. Okay, now question 1 is learning about the background of the company. Okay, SAP integrated business process solution to a company to improve its business activity. The main objective of question 1 is for students to prepare and report on their individual case company profile. Student may refer to video tutorial, refer to Appendix 5 for further explanation. The proposal should contain the following chapters. Okay, following chapters, you refer to Appendix 2. We go to this later, but currently it's already mentioned here on item 4A, B, and also C. So basically there are 3 things that you must include. First, introduction to the proposal, which will contain information such as proposal basic content, such as table of content, front page, list of figure, list of tables, those kind of things. And executive summary that is explaining about the proposal. Okay, for detailed marks, you can refer to Appendix 1, item number 1 and item number 2. Okay, afterwards, I'm going to go back to this page so that we can open the Appendix 1 item at a time. Okay, now that is item A, 5 marks, group. Item B, case company profile introduction, which will contain the information related to the student case company, okay. From here, proposal which will contain information. I'm not sure. Currently, there are certain things that this one you can ignore. Okay, the theme of this semester will be, so basically this part here. From here you can ignore. Case company profile. The theme for this semester will be car or motorcycle workshop. This one, when we talk about car, this coverage in terms of every single services that can be related to car and motorcycle, because currently before this, someone asked that, can I go to an aircon service for vehicle? Yes, you may. Small clinics, this is human, not veterinary. Okay, small clinics, it could be related to dental, it could be related to general practices. General practices, which means that kalau demam, you have a fever, you have cough, you have cough, you have flu, you go to a clinic. That is general practice. Or it could also be related to dental care. Small, still considered as small clinics. Okay, kindergarten. This is a place where children's between the age of 4 to 6 gathered in a certain location, those kind of things. Give you understand. Okay, now plant nursery. So somewhere that they sell plants, they sell soil, they sell pots, they sell uh, other kind of things. Okay. Now this one, this part here, I already assigned to you. You may refer to my previous post inside our WhatsApp group. It was already being sent to you last week. If those of you who have this problem, please raise up in your hands in our meeting, in our Google, in our Gmeet, so that okay, you don't need to raise. Let me just re-forward the thing. Okay, each team will be assigned to one small and medium enterprise already being assigned. Each team member will collect information. Now, when you go through each company, do not interview franchises. I already warned you here, do not interview franchises. They may not have the time to entertain with your final assessment. Okay, the next part is basically you can refer to Appendix 3 when you want to interview the person. You can refer to Appendix C on how to interview. Now, this one, you don't need to be on location. If you on location and do a face-to-face interview, that is good. But you can also do this through video call, no problem. But try to avoid voice. Okay, I would prefer this to be at least a not face-to-face, an online video conference at least. Now, after you already done this, please make sure I didn't mention here, because currently I need to make sure this is a little bit different. This is some of my personal hints. After you done the interview, or basically during the interview, screenshot or take a picture with the person that you are interviewing and then put it inside the document. No marks, but will basically make sure that I know that you already executed the interview. This part here, 10 marks. Okay. This is also based on an interview. Item C, current business practices. Now, we already done this. You're supposed to be, each team will have 3 people. Each people will need to choose either they want to be doing SD, MM, or HCM1. SD is the part for sales. If they don't have distribution, no problem. C is depending on the company input. This is not you create on your own. This is based on the interview with the company that you have chosen. If you're choosing clinic, you're supposed to ask them, how do they do their sales? You currently in terms of clinics, for example, they sell it's not uncontrolled. Okay, other than control medication, they can sell the others, such as paracetamol, flu medications, cough medication, those kind of things. Those are basically unregulated. It's not basically unregulated. Sorry. Okay, now I don't know the term, but let's say for the other side of the situation is basically controlled medication, where let's say for example one of the item is basically antibiotics. Antibiotics is usually when people want to buy the thing, you cannot buy it directly from the pharmacist or basically from the clinic pharmacist, even for most cases, you need to have a prescription from the doctor. So basically, this is not just for clinics, it's not just about services, it's also about products. Okay. Material management, purchasing. So how does the company purchase some of the items? Human capital management one. This is on hiring. How does the company hire a person, and then until what effort do they control in terms of when they are doing hiring? Because from what you have learned inside the SAP business process in our subject, we control until the future career of the newly hired staff. We want them to basically be able to go to the next level of their position. Basically, that's from security guard to become chief security guard. From chief security guard can become the manager. So basically, that is what you have learned inside our subject. But in terms of here, do not, I mentioned again, for this item C, do not expect complex process. This could be very simple. That is, do not expect like a very complex process that is related to this company. Okay, now then each team member will collect information through interviews. See, I already mentioned item C also is being done through interview to their case company on how they do their business process. Okay, you need to refer to question 1B. It's the same case company. Okay, now it's also referring to the suggested interview appendix, Appendix C, for detail marking, Appendix 1. Okay, that is question 1. So this part here, 30 marks individual, 10 marks individual, and 5 marks group. Okay, now before I move on to the appendix, any question? Any question 1, any question 2, any question 3? Tak ada. Okay, now we stay in question 1. We're going to move on to the appendix. First, we're going to take a look at appendix 5. Okay, now appendix 5 is the final appendix. You can go through page 20. Here, I already provided you with a link of videos that is related to the explanation of, some of it is group creation, interviewing for case company and current practice, about SD, MM, and HCM1. Okay, so that is for question 1. Video 1, video 2, video 3 is related to question 1. Video 4, video 5, video 6, and video 7 will be related to the, okay, not everything. Video 5 is also related to question 1. And then, video 4 is also related to question 1. Video 1 until video 5 is related to question 1. Video 6 and video 7 will be related to question 3. Okay. That is the first appendix. It's just really showing you the video that you can refer to in terms of when you are doing, if you need further explanation. Okay, now, the proposal should contain the following chapters. So basically, you can refer this on Appendix 2. Now, we move on to Appendix 2. Appendix 1 is marking scheme. Now, Appendix 2, suggested project proposal content. So basically, you go through this part here, the highlighted part. The highlighted part is mentioning about the items that is going to be given marks. Proposal, front page, statement of confidentiality, executive summary. Chapter 1 introduction is going to be having introduction. So introduction, you're going to have these 3 items. An overview, objective. It's not subchapter. This is going to have contain information related to the introduction. The following subchapter should contain the following information. At average, other relevance information that is included will be considered as extra point for the student. So you must have information inside the introduction, subchapter, overview, objective, upcoming chapter intro, and then you have client's information. You have overview of client organization, organization chart, contact info of if they have an organization chart. If looking at previous semester, usually inside here, minimum they have two boxes. Minimum. You have the owner and then you have the worker. Just that. Image of the conducted interview. So here you have the image. Okay. And then chapter 2. This is related to question 1A. Sorry, this part here, introduction is related to question here to here is basically question 1A. And then here, question 1B. Sorry, I need to refer back because currently, okay, let us refer back. A is the basic. Okay, true. There is ABC. So look at here. This is question 1A, the 3 items from proposal to executive summary. This is question 1B, introduction about the case company. And then you have chapter 2, question 1C. Chapter 1, basic content is question 1A. Introduction, chapter 1 is question 1B. Chapter 2, current business practice is question 1C. So what you have is basically some introduction, overview of business process, list of involved PIC, who is involved with, external, internal users, or basically external and internal parties that is related to the business process. This is just a short item. If you look at the marks, this is quite small. Now, this is the part where it's going to be quite big. So, process implementation, you have flow chart, and then you have a brief, this part here, okay, you have a brief description of the flow chart. Okay, detailed process. So what you're going to have here is the detailed description and also the data. Now, this part here, I'm going to show you an example that is not inside this documentation. I'm going to have it inside this video. Okay, now chapter 2, how are you supposed to be doing this? You're supposed to be drawing a flowchart. Okay, I show the flowchart. This is how you draw the flowchart. You don't need to have basically detailed description inside the flowchart. You just need to have a start and then item A, rule 1, rule 2, if yes or no, go to item B, go to item C, go to item D, and then end. So what do you have to have next is basically you need to have a table. Okay, I'm going to do a very short item here. So basically this, a table that will contain basically 3 items. So basically 3 items, 3 columns. Okay. Now, let's say for example, this is flowchart item. So first you have item A. This one you have description. So what was item A? Item A, let's say for example, I'm going to go through a process for, let's say, I'm going to be using car workshop, for example, car workshop. First, okay, I'm not going to do car workshop. That is quite specific. I'm going to do something general that, okay, car workshop. But for the business process of human capital management 1, that is for hiring. Okay, first, let's say for example, A is looking at reviewing staffing requirement. What is this? The shop owner will review Let's say, for example, we'll review the current workload of running the business and deciding to either hire a new staff. So that is item A. So this one, the third column will be data. So if you see here, process implementation, you have flowchart, you have a little short description about the flowchart. And then you go to the detail process, go to each item, detailed description of each element, and then the data that is being utilized. So please make sure that you, okay, now here's the thing. You don't ask the people during the interview, what data do you need? No. You first ask the process, okay. How do you conduct staff hiring? What is the process? What is the trigger? Do you, those kind of question. And then when they said that, okay, first, we will be doing this. We're going to look at whether do we need new staff. How? By we're looking at the current workload. Does all the staff are currently so busy that they don't have time to sit down? Okay, then we already know we have extra money, we have extra budget, we can hire new staff. Okay, now, so basically from here, you notice there are certain information. You already be able to identify certain information. First, you're looking at first the data for knowing whether you can start hiring new staff is basically data. Number one, workload of current staff. Two, budget. We have they have budget for new staff. And then maybe, maybe also there could be times where current staff are quitting the job. So first item, this is basically how you do. First, item 1, flowchart item A, reviewing staffing requirement, or basically, to be much more better, deciding to hire new staff. Okay, and then you have the detailed description. The shop owner will review the current workload of running business, blah, blah, blah. And also, there could be times where current staff are quitting the job. Maybe they got a better offer on another company, or they are doing something else. Maybe they want to continue their studies. So basically, they quit the job and then go for education. So currently, you're looking at maybe workload of current staff, budget for new staff, staff quitting. So those are some of the information, currently information that is needed. And then you move on. So you move on, let's say for example, item B, prepare to hire. Let's say this is the wording itself that you're going to be choosing to be inserting inside your report is on your own. Okay, because currently when you do the interview, how do you report back? This is based on your creativity. Now, referring back will be based on creativity. Okay, and then you move on, prepare for hiring, and then you have the description. I'm going to do this quite finalizing what position that is required, what are the qualification, work, okay, so it's not basically work, so basically job scope if needed, job scope, and etc. For example, don't use that, etc. is not such a good word for this report. So what data, what information that you need first? Position, maybe. This one will be based on what you get during the interview. 2, salary. 3, education background that may be needed for the position. Maybe it's a new position. Maybe nak kena ada team leader. You need to have a team leader. Maybe a new position, for example. Education background. Salary, work hour, those kind of things. There should be more, but currently in terms of here, it could be simple. Okay, it could be not as complex. It could be as simple as this, or it could be much more simpler than this, or it could be much more detailed than this. So take note on this. Okay, I'm going to basically post this inside our WhatsApp group. Okay, because currently I don't want you to start copying previous semester work. Okay, example, I'm going to paste this inside our WhatsApp group so that you may refer to this later. If you don't want to watch the video, you don't want to give me views. Okay. Okay, so that is how you do the current business practice. Okay. So going back here, that is the part for Appendix 2. And then Appendix 1, let us look at how this item is going to be marked. 5 marks. How is it going to be marked? Appendix 1, item number 1 and item number 2. So here you can refer to this. Okay, how am I supposed to? This way. Okay, helpful. Afterwards, I'm going to be we change it back later. Okay, now let us have a look at item 1 for marks. Okay, if you look at here, weightage 1, usually this thing you can copy and paste. Okay, proposal, statement of confidentiality, this part here. So I'm going to mention it here. I didn't mention it here, but currently I'm mentioning this now. Item 1, 2, 3, you can copy and paste. Okay, document background, this one, 2 marks, no copy and paste. Okay, please type in about the document background. So this is about executive summary. So you have here, if you notice in terms of how I formatting my this is how you get 3 marks. This is how you get 5 marks. Okay, so this is student imaginary company because currently you are proposing an implementation of SAP for that company. So you basically approaching them as a company, but don't mention that during the interview. Just state that during the interview, I have a final assessment that requires me to go through companies, collecting information about that company and collecting information about how they do their sales, how they do their purchasing, how they do their hiring. That is how you approach. Okay, so you have here proposal front page, statement of confidentiality, student imaginary company, document background, company history, company key strength, company information. If you notice here, I don't give 1 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks. I just give 5 because currently you cannot basically change anything. If what you get from the company, that is what you get from the company. You show this information, you get 5 marks. You don't show this information, you get 0 marks. Company information, the owner, the address, etc. Company service offering, what do they provide service? And then we have item number 4. This is 30%. So basically you have a brief introduction to the company business process, the flowchart, the detailed description, and the vital data. So those are the marks that you are given. Now, notice here, if you plagiarize from previous work, you will get 0. Plagiarize, and then you won't get marks. How many marks you won't get? 25 in total. Okay, let us have a look. Okay, now I need to undo this. Okay, so that is how marks is being given for this part here, for item number 1 and item number 2, and also this is item number 3, 10 marks, and also this is item number 4, 30 marks. Okay, so that is for question 1. Is there any question before we move on to question 2? Okay, I'm guessing there's still none. Maybe during when you execute your final assessment, maybe from there you have a question. Okay, no problem. Question can be asked generally inside our WhatsApp group. Now, we move on to question 2. This will be done on week 12. So basically you have until the 3rd week to make sure that you complete question 1. Okay, week 10, 11, and then week 12. So basically, during week 12, we're going to have a presentation. So what happens here is basically you're going to be present your findings from the first front page of your proposal until the chapter that is contained your flowchart. Okay, why do we have this presentation during the middle of the final assessment? Because I need to check on your question 1. If your question 1 is okay, then you may proceed with question 3. If your question 1 is not okay, then you need to repeat question 1, because currently question 1 and question 3 are related. If question 1 is wrong, the answer is not really adequate for question 3, then you're going to get low marks for question 3. Okay, refer to Appendix 4 for, okay, now when we go through Appendix 4, it's basically just showing you this thing. Appendix 4, okay, overall final assessment timeline. This is what is basically what you're supposed to be doing. You can read on this. Okay, this one I didn't, I'm guessing there is Appendix 3, or did I mention this? Okay, Appendix, let's go back to the first question. Appendix 2 is there, Appendix 1 is there. Now, just going back, Appendix 3, we didn't go through Appendix 3. Okay, Appendix 3, if you look at Appendix 3, it's just showing you the procedure. First, what you need to do, you need to introduce yourself, you need to interview, and then you need to review back what you have already interviewed. So interview preparation, make sure you approach the case company, make yourself well presented if you're going to do it face-to-face. Prepare the question that is aligned. Okay, question, you may ask this, for example, or you may go more. As I mentioned last week, stick to the common practice. What, where, when, who, which, how. Stick to those questions. What is your sales business process? How do you do your sales business process? Who is involved with this sales business process? What is the step-by-step? What is step 1? What is step 2? What is step 3? What is the starting point? What is the end point? Those kind of questions. Okay. Now, I'm guessing this is no longer, it's still, but currently before this there was that 10,000 ringgit of payment if you broke the SOP, COVID-19 SOP. Now it's 1,000, but still it's causing money. So please make sure you practice COVID-19 SOPs. Okay. And then post-interview, after the interview, please make sure you convert all the information from into your chapter 1 and chapter 2, outcome of the interview. If you want to make sure that everything is correct, you can go back and show the flowchart to the case company that you have interviewed, the description, the personnel that is involved. Okay, what's next? Suggestion of change. This will be in question 3. Okay, that is all in terms of Appendix 3. Okay, any question? None? If there is none, we go to the final question, that is question 3. Question 2, presentation. This is just to check whether question 1, your answer for question 1, is it okay or not? Okay, how to submit question 1? Question 1 is being submitted by compiling all of your 3 team members' report. Combine it into one, submit. Presentation also will be done in group. Okay, now, what if my team member didn't submit? They submit so last minute that is we going to have a problem submitting it inside column. Leave them. Okay, because currently here 90% is individual. Okay, now question 3. This question should be done on week 12 to week 13 after the presentation. Question 3 can only be done after the presentation. After the presentation, I'm going to give you a green light so that you can continue in terms of question 3. Question 3 will be based on what you have already report in question 1. Okay, each group should come up with the blah 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 blah, still the same thing. Okay, now will prepare a continuation proposal to implement SAP integrated business process to a company to improve its business activity. Okay, the main objective of question 2, is supposed to be question 3, for student to prepare and report on the suggested improvement. This is similar to what we have done in our midterm, something like that. Okay, student may refer to video tutorial Appendix 5. This will be on video tutorial number 6 and number 7 to see the example. Okay, and now in terms of here, it's going to be like this. Just mentioning this. From this flowchart, you may remove, if you want to remove and you see it is not related, you may remove an item if it's not related. If you want to add an item, you want to add some rules, also not a problem. Just add, change this flowchart. This is the initial. Add more items, remove items, move them around. If after you change and the flowchart will work, then it's okay. Okay, now that is the part where it's related to question 3. But then you need to have one more column here. This is for question 3. Let's say, for example, prepare for hiring process, you don't need this. So let's say, for example, you decided that one of the process will be removed. How you supposed to be documenting this is basically like this. How am I going to do this? So let's say God help me. Okay, let's say for example, okay, I'm going to do this. Please be patient. Okay, so let's say for example, you are removing. Don't delete, just notate something that you want to remove. If you want to add, then add something. But then how you supposed to label this? So let's say for example, this is a new process. Label it as let's say for example, you label this as 1. Make sure this is being bold and underlined so that I know that this is a new process. So let's say there is item 1. This is the addition is being done in terms of number. And then from C, let's say for example, after C, you want to include another process that is relevant. And underline. So if you notice here, then you need to insert the items here. I'm going to give you an example here, or you may refer to this video later. So there is addition of item 1 and item 2. Give a description, similar fashion, but then at the end, you must have justification. This is a must. Okay, we're going to look at how I'm going to give marks for this item. Okay, now item B was removed. So here, item B, you just do this. Do not remove from Okay, I'm going to put this outside. I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to basically move this here. Okay, there's 1. You can easily do this in words, but currently I'm not in words, so base for item for basically you get my point. Basically, just cross this thing. This is not underlined. This is basically just please. This is not okay. Just like that. Do this for everything from prepare to hire until the end. This part here is also the same. Remove all of this. If it's being removed, then it's going to be removed. It's just slash it out like that. So basically that is, and then let's say for example, you already included item 1, similar fashion. Let's say for example, advertise in the internet. Owner of the, because let's say for example before this they only advertise the position to family and friends. So basically you want to take it even further, advertise it on the internet. Okay, owner will. Okay, now if you notice here, advertise on the internet is not inside our HCM business process, but there is something that is related to advertisement. Okay, similar function. Owner of the business will advertise the opening through to multiple job websites such as My Future Jobs, Job Street, and Job Satu Malaysia. If let's say for example, okay, like that. And then you need to justify. What is the reason that you add, let's say for example, step 1, step B removal justification is because step 1 addition is because So you need to justify each addition. If there is changes to the location, let's say for example C is here. Currently it's being this is also one situation that can happen. C is being moved rather than connected to here, is being moved to here. So you need to also justify. Step C is moved because something. So this is how you do your question 3. Let us have a look. Okay. Question 3. A. Improve through SAP, which will contain details regarding to the improvement of the existing business process. So basically, you have the initial flowchart and then you adding items. Okay, 25 individual marks. Implementation, which will contain details regarding the sample of critical screen. This part here, we will enter later. Okay, now it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to do this a bit later. We're going to take a 10-minute break, so we will continue afterwards. Any question, you may start, go through the question 1, question 2. If you have any question, please post it inside our Gmail. Okay. Okay, so we continue back. So, question 3. Each okay, blah blah blah. Appendix 5, Appendix 2. Okay, now let us have a look. Improvement through SAP, which will contain details regarding the improvement to the existing business process of the interviewed case company. For details marking, refer to Appendix 1. So, the explanation for question 3A was this. You may add like number 1, number 2, you may remove like B, you may move it like C. But then you need to include justification. Why you remove B, why you insert step 1, why did you move C. And also description, not much of a changes in terms of what is already there. But the data, you need to improve. Okay. If there are certain things here that you see, okay, workload, budget, staff quitting, if you think, or basically from what you have learned through our subject, when doing the assignment, and you see there are some improvement that can be made in terms of the list of data, you may include it more, because currently in terms of here, if you look at the, okay, now let's go back here. For the detail marking, please refer to item number 5. So, let us, maybe I should have done this. Only from page 6. Okay, let us move page 6 only. Okay, it's not just page 6. So, it's until page 11. Page 7 until 11. Okay, now this is much more. Okay, now let us have a look at items number 5 for question 1 for question 3A. So you have a brief description, nothing much. This is only 2 marks. And then you have the new flowchart, whether you showing additional of relevant step for for you to get 5 marks, showing additional of relevant step or removal, or basically you move it around. Basically, in terms of when you have those 3, you get 5 marks, but it also depends on your justification. Okay, adding the description and then you improve the data. So basically that is how marks is being given. Okay, when you add new process, you need to add new description. Okay, now new vital data, you have to insert. If you notice on the existing data that is already being collected during the interview, if you notice there are certain things that needed to be improved, needed to be added, then add it. Okay, now to make things easier for me to mark your report, please do this. The new one, please bold it. Okay, let's say for example, there is new data here, working hour. So let's say you want to have number 5, future career. Bold it so that I could easily identify what are the things or suggestion that you have made for question 3A. This is not being highlighted. This is just tips on how to make sure that I know that I will notice what are your answers for question 3A. Okay, now we move on. After question 3A, you have question 3B. Implementation of SAP, which will contain details regarding to a sample of critical screenshots. This will be based on your assignment. You may go to previous screen that you have done during the lab, during our lab, screenshot some of the important screen and then change the input based on your case company. Like for example, for material management, you can still access your previous PO, purchase order. What did you order? Chain locks. So from there, you can screenshot and then change some of the information inside that screenshot. So let us have a look at how we're going to be doing this. Appendix 1, item number 6. How am I going to give marks? Item number 6. So first, screenshot. To get 5, you need to have at least 7. Order of screenshot, make sure that it is step by step. This is the first screenshot, the second, the third, the fourth, according to what you have learned inside SAP. Okay, item number 3 will be data entry. All screenshots are showing correct sample data input, you will get 5 marks. If you provide the screenshot but then some of the data you didn't change, you will be considered for 3 marks or in between, depend. So that is how you're supposed to do question 3B. You need to provide screenshot to get 5 marks. You need to provide 7 to get this 3 marks full. 5 here, you need to make sure all screenshots order are correct. And finally, the data, make sure that all the data that is on the screenshot is being changed based on what your case company is. If I see any data that is related to GBI, then you're going to get either 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, those are the things that you must do in question 3B. Okay, how do you do this? How do you insert all the data? Just use Paint. Paint is enough. Use Paint. Use Microsoft Paint is enough. Screenshot and then start layering some elements to replace the input. You don't need to show me the original input and the new input. No, just show me one screenshot with the relevant inputs that is related to the case company. Do not provide me with true screenshot. Also, this is my first screenshot. This is what I think is critical. This was the origin data from GBI. Now, this is my second screenshot showing the data that is related to the case company. No, I don't need the first screen. I just need the second screen. Enough. If you were to provide me with what I just said just now, original screenshot, this is the new, and then the the input data screenshot, then you're going to have 17 screens. I don't want that. Only 7 screens. Okay, that is for question 3B. Now we're moving on to question 3C. Just conclude your work. How does this going to be done? How is this going to be marked? Look at item number 7. You have a conclusion, you don't have a conclusion. 5 marks. But don't, other than items that is being given 1 mark on the weightage, 1 mark can be copy and paste. More than 1 mark, if you copy and paste and I detected that you copy and paste, you're not going to get very high marks. You're going to be getting maybe 0. Okay, so that is all for your final assessment. Question 1, preparing the collect information from an interview with your case company. Question 2, presenting to make sure that your question 1 is ready for question 3. Question 3, improve the process, provide screenshots, and conclude your report. So marks for question 3 is 42 marks. 25 here, 12 there, 5 here. 25 and 12 is basically individual, 5 marks is group. So that is all related to your final assessment. Now, also just to make sure that everyone is clear, I already mentioned last week during our lecture, please, when you want to choose a case company, choose from your hometown. Okay, each person must have their own case company with the same team. Okay, depending on what team that is being assigned to you. One moment before I end the briefing, let me find the photo again. Where was it? Okay, this was it. Okay, I already posted again inside our WhatsApp group. Please refer to that. Okay. If currently in terms of how to get the contact of the case company, call your parents, ask them for help, ask them, can you get me, boleh tak, Papa, can you please get me the phone number for this particular clinic that we usually go to when I'm sick, when mother is sick, when my siblings are sick, like that. That is how you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be approaching the case company. Just go and get the phone number. Okay. Just ask your parents for help. Okay. So that is all for the final assessment briefing. Before we end the briefing, any question, you may ask it through one moment. Let me stop the recording for